Okay. 3, 2, 1. Oh, the audio mixer. Hello, and welcome to CatskullGameing. This is the weekly dev diary, and this week we have started the Godot Wild Jam. It started yesterday, Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, and the theme that was picked was The Unseen. I am super excited about this game jam. This will be the second game jam that I've ever participated in, and the first one with a team of people, which is super cool, super intimidating, but I think will ultimately be a really good growth experience for me and for the team, and I am super excited to see what we're able to do with this game jam. It is gonna be good. It's gonna be wild. I have no clue how to work with a team. I don't even know how to make a video game. So we're gonna learn all this stuff in the next 9 days, and we'll see what we produce. With the unseen being the theme, we talked a little bit about some ways that we can incorporate that into what we want to do for a game. So the first thing I can probably do is talk about the game as far as like some mock imagery that I made up to kind of help me visualize how the game works, what it's doing, and how to kind of conceptualize, okay, these are the things that are happening. This is the style and the theme that I'm kind of shooting for. So this would be a basic, very, very uber busy version of kind of what I had been envisioning. You have the dice, you're going to be rolling them into a combat area, holding certain dice for use, and then re-rolling other dice. Each of those dice can have different pips and faces, so some way to track what you have out there, some way to pick or to know, hey, these are the malts that you can get, and then an enemy, who is an actual enemy, and they will have the same thing, the ability to save dice, and then a round dice that was created or something like that. I haven't figured out how that works, but other UI elements. And basically the idea is there will be a dice roll animation. Player will be able to choose dice to save, re-roll until they have all 5 built out, and then whichever ones that match, so 3 of a kind, aces, 3s, they'll be able to pick that one and then get that malt. And we'll tell them how much the score is, and that will be reduced from the enemy HP and vice versa. Get down to 0, combat ends, person at 0 loses. Pretty straightforward, pretty simple combat mechanic. And that's basically the whole game. Go into combat, do a thing, win combat, get some kind of bonus or multiplier that helps you kill the next harder monster. Rinse, wash, repeat. Have the ability to kind of customize the dice, that there's some tactics and strategy, and like, oh, I can go for 3s of a kind. Oh, I could do all 4s. Or maybe I'll do aces and try to get a strong defense or something like that. I don't know. We're still figuring it all out. But this really helped me kind of contextualize, like, all right, here's the play field, here's the play mat, here's where everything's going to be. Everything should fit within these kind of things. And then for the animation in Godot, I can go in and each individual like layer element, I can just animate it in Godot using Godot's built-in animation node and just do a transform and alert function and then alert it between point A and point B. The animation player already does that, so it would be very, very fast to iterate upon and get that done. Also going to need some kind of how to play screen, so we had talked about having elements. Here I just did a quick 7 elemental triangle with 2 debuffs and 2 buffs on either side of like whatever the element is, and in this way you could roll these. There would be a challenge in the beginning of each round, and you'd be able to roll to get whatever the element is, and that way there would be a way to have variety in the initial combat structure. Way to check what kind of faces you have, maybe a way to track your pips, and a description so you know what these things do. So you assign them to your dice, you'll know what's actually going to happen, and then your mult tracker. Then we need a world map. I was thinking a vertical, very flat, linear world map. Little dots, dashes. Just like this kind of mapping structure. So that it is just like a token that moves to the right, a token that moves there after each combat. The player doesn't really need to interact. Maybe they can click on a node. Maybe there'll be 1 or 2 branching nodes where you could go off to do a different kind of combat. I don't know. We'll see how much time we have to get to things. We'll see if we can get to this point. Step 1 is get the combat done. And that's what we ultimately decided was the place to start is with the combat. So here I have written out every step in the combat as far as I could think it through. And then I wrote out what I thought each of us would need to contribute in order to make that happen. Dividing our roles up so that we have Dayton working primarily on the code base, Jim primarily working on audio and sonics, any kind of sound element, and myself doing mainly the art and game design. So broke all that up, and then working in Godot to go ahead and add all of these different elements so that Dayton can come in here in the next couple days, and he'll be able to hook the animation player up to the dice, hook the ability to click on and interact with objects, hook all that stuff up, write all that code, figure out how we want to structure it, store that data so that we can take it from this combat scene to the next combat scene, which the monster is definitely gonna have to be its own scene. Like, I need to go through and do some stuff, so structuring all this and getting it ready for him to do that, and then also getting it ready so that Jim can come in and Jim can come in and he can start to look and see, like, okay, these things kind of take this long. We're gonna need sound effects for this. We need music that encompasses this. We need music that kind of can swell and ebb and flow and do whatever music things do. And then having it set up so that he can come in and mess around, because he's never done any Godot programming stuff. He said he's tried to get into it and kind of bounce off programming. What I think would be really, really good for him to do the implementation of the audio, because it would give him a better understanding of what he can do in editor and how, like, dynamic sound and these things need to be dynamic, and to think about those things, which is different than making music for an audience or music in another area. And so I don't want to push him to do it, but I'm encouraging him to take on that step, because I could just put an audio player in, click it around, drop some audio in, but I won't have the same level of attention that he'll have because it's his audio. So I'm really hoping he picks up on how to do that stuff and he has time to come in and implement all of his own audio into the game itself, because that'd be really cool to see. Dayton said he needed a basic structure to kind of see, so he can figure out how to build everything so that it works. So I'm going to get this ready for him, and then I'm super excited to see what he has going on and how he builds out things. I've never been able to kind of see that happen, so being able to watch the commits come in and see how he develops those things will be really, really exciting. And then me, I'm doing art stuff, so gray box everything out now, figuring out, like, all right, these things are here, they work here, I can do simple animation here, and just get all the elements in so that they're there, and they just need to be programmed to do the things. And then I can start on the fun stuff of figuring out what is the aesthetic, what is the design, how are these things going to look. I'm going to have some conversations with Jim about what he's thinking with audios and, like, how those two are going to work together with the visual and the audio. One of the things we had talked about was keeping a cute, gross kind of theming to it, where it does have this kind of punk rock, gross, in-your-face aesthetic, but also, like, a cute, uplifting kind of bubbly vibe to it. So we'll see, but I am really, really excited for this jam. I'm really excited to keep going, get this stuff knocked out, and see what we can do. I'm gonna try throughout the jam to take some reference video of me working, of the game coming together, different stages of what it looks like, just to kind of document the whole thing. So tune in. Hopefully I'll have a post-mortem video once this is all done. Not this week, but the following week after the jam's over. And then it will be up. You'll be able to play what we make. You can check it out. Next week, we will have about 2 or 3 days left to the jam. Will be coming up right on the end, and I'm gonna see if I can't get Dayton and Jim to jump in on a call and just talk about their experience so far. And then the following week, we have a post-mortem, and I'll try to get them back for that too, so we can get their input and their views on all that, because I think that'd be really great. But that is it this week for the CatskullGameing Dev Diary. I'm still playing Lorelei and the Laser Eye every Sunday at 7. Join me as I stream that. I'm getting close. I know I'm getting close. It's a great game. I'm absolutely in love with it. It's wonderful. Also, please like, subscribe, comment down below. If you have a comment, let us know what you think of our ideas for combat system. Let me know what you think, my ideas for art, design, and direction. I'd love to hear your input. Subscribe, like, bell, YouTube notification thing. Be good to each other, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Now, I just got to stop.